Last week, the government of Israel banned Representatives Ilhan, Omar, and Rashida Tlaib from traveling to the country. And Benjamin Netanyahu, said that their support of the BDS movement is the reason why they've been banned from travel. Then there was some news that they would allow Representative Rashida Tlaib to enter the country to visit her grandmother with a humanitarian reason. However, Tlaib decided, no, I'm not gonna go because I'm gonna take a stand here and talk about how going as someone who's gonna be oppressed is not the right way to go about it. Now, today, both congresswomen held a press conference and shared their perspective and their version of what's going on. Let's take a look at this next video of Rashida Tlaib.
As a young girl visiting Palestine to see my grandparents and extended family, I watched as my mother had to go through dehumanizing checkpoints. Even though she was a United States citizen and proud American, I was there when my city was in a terrible car accident, and my cousins and I cried so she could have access to the best hospitals, which were in Jerusalem. I remember shaking with fear when checkpoints appeared in the small village of Bet Or el-Foka, tanks and guns everywhere. I remember visiting East Jerusalem with my then husband and him escorted off the bus, although he was a United States citizen, just so security forces could harass him. All I can do as my city's granddaughter, as the granddaughter of a woman who lives in occupied territories, to elevate her voice by exposing the truth the only way I know how. As my Detroit public schools teachers taught me, by humanizing the pain of oppression.
So later in the press conference, she explained in detail her reasons for not taking Israel up on its offer to allow her to visit her grandmother on humanitarian grounds. But I just want to note that, what Netanyahu did here, and remember, it was something that was suggested by Donald Trump via Twitter. Netanyahu took advantage of the opportunity, banned them from visiting. They actually did publicity for the BDS movement.
100%.
Yeah.
I grow more convinced of it every single day. And they also showed what hypocrites they are. They don't believe in free speech at all. They never have. But not the right wing in Israel, not the right wing in America. They hate free speech.
Well, hold on. So you're right in that the right wing in America will pretend like they care about free speech, but all they really care about is being able to go on college campuses to give $50,000 speeches, right? They're worried about their own pocketbooks. But I do want to note that even AIPAC came out against what the Israeli government did here.
Yeah, but the right wing in America is represented by Donald Trump. He's the one that asked the right wing in Israel to do it in the first place.
That's true, yes.
Okay, right wing gets absolutely no pass. Total and utter hypocrites. Whenever you see any of them complaining about free speech, number one, know that there's money on the line for them, okay? And you should laugh in their face. They hate free speech. Now, onto the core of this issue. Look, I have a confession. I think that I have not been sufficiently, I think I've been clear, but not sufficiently strong enough, or I mean, it's a funny thing to say, but raged enough about the plight of the Palestinians. And I think I thought about it over the weekend because of Bill Maher, that outrageous bigot that HBO continues to employ, and almost every time he talks about it, he puts down Muslims. And he hates Muslims. It's super obvious. And no, it's not because he's an atheist. I'm an atheist. I think all the religions are completely wrong. No, Bill Maher hates Muslims. He called Palestinians, he basically doing scare quotes, saying like, oh, like a peaceful people. No, that's a racist thing to say. Like, as if Palestinians are not peaceful in totality. And that's what he thinks. He thinks Muslims and Palestinians in particular are violent animals, and they should be caged up and occupied. That's what Bill Maher thinks. That's what the right wing in this country thinks. I'm going to talk more about it in the last half hour of the Young Turks. That's for the members. We'll tackle it then. But in this case, I think that I was cowed by the fact that I was born a Muslim in a Muslim family. I'm an atheist now. But hey, if you defend the Palestinians more forcefully, you're going to get called an anti-Semite, and that's a fact that's happened. It's happened all across this issue for the entire time I've been doing news, and not about me. I'm so strongly in favor of protecting Jewish Americans that I don't get it often because it'd be preposterous to say that about me, but it doesn't stop anybody from saying anything anyway. But it gets anyone who defends Palestinians forcefully gets that smear 100% of the time in America, okay? But I'm done with it, okay? Palestinians are human beings. If you treat them as anything but human beings, we're gonna come for you. Rhetorically, politically, and I'm done with it. I can't stand it anymore. Being treated like that, and you're gonna bring a US citizen in because they're Palestinian. You're gonna make them go through those checkpoints and dehumanize them and humiliate them and embarrass them. Israel, if they ever do that to another US citizen again, should never get a cent from America, let alone the $140 billion we have given them. Because that is a racist thing to do. Call it what it is. And I can't take anymore the Ben Shapiro's and the Bill Maher's and the Donald Trumps all going out there and the Sam Harris's. Well, I mean, Muslims, I mean, their religion is violent. They're irredeemable. So you know what? We're gonna just keep them locked up. And then they're not allowed to do violence. I 100% agree. Then, but wait, they're not allowed to go seek statehood in the United Nations. So no diplomatic route. Why? Why couldn't they? Israel got formed by going to the United Nations. Why can't the Palestinians go? No, anti-Semitic. What on God's green earth are you talking about? That's not anti-Semitic. That's taking a diplomatic route. No, they also can't do a boycott. You can't do economic means. So what's left? The only thing left is bow your head and realize we're gonna call you subhuman and lock you up for the rest of your life. Well, my answer to that is hell no. It's about damn time all of us stood up for Palestinians. They're human beings, treat them like human beings. It is definitely not too much to ask for. And if you don't agree with that, there is something wrong with you. You've become so blinded by your hatred and your fear that you become whatever you are on any other issue, you become a right winger on this issue. Oh no, they might one day do violence, one of them or 10 of them or 100 of them. So millions of them will keep locked up in a cage, we'll call it an occupation, and we'll crush them, and we won't give them statehood, and every single day we will humiliate them. But God forbid they should ever, because they're irredeemable. My state violence doesn't count. Only when they do violence, it counts. When I crush them every day, it doesn't count. Goddamn wrong, it does count. State violence matters. You can argue that that's state terrorism against millions of people.
Also, and I really don't want to get off on too long of a tangent on Bill Maher, but if I recall correctly, Bill Maher was outraged at the First Amendment rights of conservative speakers being violated on liberal college campuses. He felt that college students were being too sensitive and that they should allow people with different ideologies to come onto their campuses and speak, which I actually happen to agree with him on that, right? But why is it that a nonviolent movement like BDS is something that should be squashed? Why is it that that is the one thing that isn't protected or shouldn't be protected according to people like Bill Maher? Because
he's a bigoted hypocrite. I'm gonna spend a long time in the post game talking about it. You wanna hear that? Become a member, tyt.com/join. Actually support progressive media that gives a damn instead of a media that every single day crushes the hopes, dreams of Palestinians. He called it virtue signaling. Yeah, that would mean you have virtue, right? No, oh no, hey, you want to treat Palestinians as human beings, that's virtue signaling. Anyway, let's go back to Tlaib.
So in this next clip, Tlaib explains why she did not take the Israeli government's offer to allow her to visit her grandmother on humanitarian grounds.
I spoke to my family, and I think my grandmother said it beautifully when she said, I'm her asfur. Asfur in Arabic means her bird. And she said, I'm her dream manifested. I am her free bird. So why would I come back and be caged and bow down when my election rose her head up high, gave her dignity for the first time? And so through tears at 3 o'clock in the morning, we all decided as a family that I could not go until I was a free American United States Congresswoman coming there, not only to see my grandmother, but to talk to Palestinian and Israeli organizations that believed that my grandmother deserved human dignity as much as anyone else does.
Look, I love America, that's why we came here, but I rage against the American government when it does something wrong, the Iraq war, etc. And I want Israel to be safe. I want Israel to be secure and independent. I don't want anybody touching Israel. I don't want any wars. But if you're not raging against the endless occupation of the Palestinians, well, you're not doing Israel any service. You're not helping them at all. You're ruining their morality. They have no moral high ground left at all. You're not doing them any favors, and it's, if you care about Israel, as I care about America and I care about Israel, you have got to make sure that they're doing the right thing. And if they're not, you've got to say it. If you don't say it, then they're going to continue to occupy them for the rest of time. Let the Palestinians go. Let them go, let them go, let them go. Well, hey, you made it this far. You must really like the Young Turks. Thank you, we really appreciate you. Now, another easy way to keep supporting us also helps keep your internet activities and data private, all with a push of the NordVPN app. Head to nordvpn.com/TYT right now for 75% off of your next 3 years.